Combining all of those skills together, the art and the science, the thinking and the doing, was what resulted in the exceptional result.
What's going on, my fellow YouTube traders? I want to go over a quick video today of a drill that I was showing a friend of mine on how to improve your accuracy in trading for small targets. In this instance, we're trading for a 1.25R multiple, and what that means is you're trying to make $1.25 for every $1 you're risking. And the reason for that is to just really see how accurate you are at getting that first target, and then later on, if you want to run a multi-scale trading system, you can scale out for a 2R, 3R, 4R, 6R, 10R, whatever you decide to do. However, if you guys do run a scenario, say on Excel, and you have like a 70 to 80% winning percentile on hitting your first scale, and it's above 1R, say it's 1.25R, even 1 for 1, but even say at 1.25R, 1.5R, you actually make most of the times a lot more money going all in, all out if you can hit 70 to 80% scale rate, because target rate, because most of the time your 2R, 3R, 4R scales don't hit unless we have crazy volatility and high range, and then you can kind of tweak your strategy. But on average, in a range bound market, which we've seen most of the time, if you can get a 70% accuracy or 80% accuracy in hitting your first target, anything above a 1 for 1 or even a 1 for 1, you're making some pretty good money here. So I'm going to go over a couple of trades I took today. I did 4 of these little quick scalps. I was 4 for 4, but I don't feel like going through all of them. I'm just going to show you what you do. It's pretty simple. You set a bracket order, and you're just trading the order flow. And the key here is to have a good order flow read, right, and get in where you can assess your risk, and making sure that your risk is outside of an area where it would be difficult to hit your stop, and then have your target automatically placed, and then just wait for it to either prove you right or prove you wrong. So let's get into this trade. This is a trade on early on Friday morning. There you go, it already happened. So you'll see that okay, so this happened a little quick. I guess I didn't prepare it correctly, but just check this out. We pushed up right on good delta, good volume, but there was a seller up here. I'm going to pause this just for a second. There was a seller up here absorbing. How do we know he was absorbing? Because they pushed this up on good volume, right? But there was no follow through on the aggressive buying. There was actually a lot of sellers hitting this bid and holding this market, and we can tell here by the amount of volume being accumulated right here. You can also see this here on the delta profile, and also here on the delta read. We had 1191 in aggressive buying, but we finished at 3. So up here, while I was reading this order flow, especially here on the dome, I said, okay, there's a seller in here. Potentially we can get a reversal back down to mid, so I'm going to hit this short. And again, I'm only trading a 1.25R, so the minute I hit 95.75, brackets go out. I have a 2-point stop. You can see that, right? 95.75 plus 2 is 97.75, and a 1.25R would make me at 93.50 would be my target. And it's in a good area. It's at the peak of this volume. We could easily have a VPOC shift back down here if we trade. It's at mid. There's a potential of this trade working. If we can't get past these 95.25s or start stalling, then I'm probably going to be wrong and it stops me out. But at this point, based on the fact that there was a seller absorbing here, buyers really couldn't really push up. This was actually also, if you guys look at a chart, this was I believe Thursday's VPOC area around this 96. So we expect some type of two-way trade and potential reverting back to at least mid. So let me hit play here. So you can see I'm in the trade, brackets go out, and at this point my hands are off. There's nothing for me to do. I'm just observing the order flow. This is not a trade where I'm going to bail out if I get a different read. These executions, these drills, I call these headshot drills. I'm just looking for, like, if you're a sniper looking for headshot, just very accurate. Can I get it? And once I trigger the trade, I don't touch it. So I don't care if I get stopped out. or if the trade, you know, wins. I'm just trying to see how accurate am I in my read. So you can see here, trade's going a little bit in my favor. Looks pretty good, right? There's they're starting to hit into the bid here, but there's somebody who's lifting. So a lot of volume being traded up here. Starting to almost develop like a P-shaped profile, but you can see up very top here that the volume just completely tapered off, right? When buyers got up here, they just died out, and sellers really held it. So we're just going to observe this trade, pay attention, see what happens. There's a two-way battle here. This is early on. This is the first 7-10 minutes of the day on Friday morning, February 8th. So you can see here they're holding it below this volume area. They're trying to press down, but sellers aren't really doing that great of a job yet, right? I mean, they're hitting it. We have a negative delta, but price isn't reflecting what these sellers are doing. So there's obviously here a buyer who's absorbing, correct? And you can see here came out of the positive delta. So they absorbed all that selling, they pushed back up. So at this point, you know, you're like, shit, maybe my trade is not that accurate. This looks like it could potentially start squeezing up here now if we get above these 97s. But again, there was a seller here, so let's just see if they defend again. So we're pushing up. We have this small little double top, and instantly sellers started becoming more aggressively up here at these highs again, around the same volume area. They start pressing, pushing back down. If you guys pay attention here to the right on the dome, look at the size going off here on the bid. Somebody's reloading, pushing it back down, coming back up. So there's a two-way fight here, right? So again, I am not going to exit this trade. It's either going to stop me out or it's going to go in my favor. Pretty good sell side buy side absorption here. Somebody's selling into this bid. They're holding it. So this guy's got to go away. He's got to be done. Is he done? Whenever he's done with his business, either we're going to go back down or he's going to become more aggressive and initiate and start lifting up. So far we can gauge who are the more aggressive participants in this market based on the fact that we have a negative delta divergence up here. We're pushing higher, but the sellers are more aggressive. So now we're looking forward. You know, if we get below this guy right here, these participants who lifted right there, we start getting a little bit of a flush. So again, we backed off the highs. This looks pretty good for my trade again. I'm like, okay, if they wanted to take it, they should have taken it up here. Now if we get below these guys, what happens? Okay, so the trade's starting to work in my favor now. This is I'm going to speed this up a little bit just because it's a lot of dead time, but you can see here they're starting to lift here above VWAP. They're trying to lift, but is price following what they're trying to do here? Nope, price looks like it's now following the sell side. So they're going to push lower here. And once we clear this area right here, we should starting to get a little bit of a flush. See how they're really trying to lift here around VWAP. This is the area that this gray band is an area that I had predetermined. But so far, the sellers are more aggressive. That's why, you know, the trade looks like it could work. There's real no aggressive lifting thus far. And again, I'm just trying to see it. Can we revert back to the overnight VPOC, to mid area? We were in a gap down overnight. A lot of buyers up here who are trying to buy this breakout may start bailing soon. All this volume accumulated right here could fuel the move lower. So yeah, they're really struggling to lift, really struggling to get off. A lot of volume being built here, but they're just struggling to really get off. There's some good accumulation because sellers, and then boom, there's aggressive selling coming in. And then you just start seeing a little bit more coming in. And then ultimately this flickering around mid here. It's just been a slow little grind. You'll see it start pushing through. On the sell side, it really becoming more aggressive. Trying to lift here, and then boom. No fill yet. Boom. Now I finally got my fill. Right? You see all that flashing coming in here, all that liquidity coming in on top. And then this really starts just to sink. See, all those guys who try to buy here, try to hold it, all that volume being built up, all puking right now. Those guys are all puking. And this now starts extending a little bit lower. So let's go to the next trade real quick. Okay, so the next trade is that we got that flush lower, right? So we got this good extension lower. We made new lows. All those buyers up there started puking. We have really good volume, really good delta at negative 3,500. So now I am looking for a continuation play. So we're pushing back up here now to mid from below. I know there's a lot of volume up here in this 93 to 94 area. So I'm looking for, once it starts stalling to get above and comes back down, we want to hit it and then get our 1.25 R. So this is what we're going to look for. There was the push lower, come back up, retest, failed, and now we're coming back down. So you see I'm in at 92, right? I muted what I was saying in this other video, so that's why you see my cursor moving around. I'm trying to explain this to a friend of mine while I was recording this screen. But the premise is we pressed back down, came back up, stalled, and now started to puke. You hit it short, and we're looking for our risk is above 94s. And here we go. Market starts rolling back down. You see liquidity coming in here, more resistance, and they're really starting to press this right back down. And eventually, boom, we get our fill when it goes through it. So again, you can say, well, why didn't you hold from up here? It was the high of day. You could have made more money. That's great, but the market could also just been in balance like we've been seeing and come right back up. That's not the point. The point of this trading exercise here is to see how accurate am I at getting my first scale. If I want to run a multi-scale system and I want to get out one at 1.25 R, the next one I want to get out at 2.25 R, the third one I want to get out at 4 R, or whatever you guys want to do, is how good am I at just getting my first target, right? So because even if you just trade all in, all out, that's good money. I mean, 4 trades at 9 ticks, what is that, $112? So that's $450 per contract. You could easily do this on a 10 lot, and that's $4,500 a day. And you're not stressing out over holding a trade and waiting for it to get to target. I mean, you can make a lot of money by doing that as well, but my personality most of the times is I like to get in and get out and then just look for the next trade. I do hold some trades, some runners, as you've seen in some other videos, but that's just more when we have more volatility in the market and the speed of trade is a lot faster. Since October we had some good volatility. December we had great volatility, but now we're back to this slow grind, right? The VIX has dropped off, so you have to adapt. Your trading style goes back to, okay, I'm going to go back to being a sniper, get my 2 to 3 points, rinse and repeat versus holding all day. Again, this is just how my personality is. I like to refine and see how accurate I am with my order flow read and then just get my targets. Everyone trades differently, but this is just a drill. If you guys are looking to improve your order flow skills, you can just set a simple static bracket order 1 for 1, 1 for 1.25 R, 1 for 1.5 R, however you guys decide to do it. The point is, once you place the trade, set it and forget it, and see how accurate you are at hitting it. And then you can go back and measure your statistics and say, okay, I'm hitting this 50% of the time, so I'm obviously my execution is off, or I'm hitting it 80% of the time, so I'm executing like a champ. Let's see if we can move it to 1.5 R or 1.75 R and see if I can still hit my hit with a high accuracy rate, and you're just making more money. All right, hope this video made sense, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave some comments below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and please hit the like button. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Combining all of those skills together, the art and the science, the thinking and the doing, was what resulted in the exceptional result.